everybody. I'm Jeff Barton, and you are watching the Las Vegas Real Estate Show, LVRS, and we're on every Sunday night at 4:30. Glad you tuned in, and I really appreciate you watching the show. We try to talk about what's going on in the Valley, what's happening in your life, my life, about what the real estate market is here and how it's going to change and what's changing it and all the things that affect it. There are certainly so many things that affect real estate prices. The market is great. It's really hot. There's about 5 or 6 offers per home when we're out there looking for homes. So if you're in the market for a home, understand there's several things you got to know before you even get going on it. You got to get qualified for a loan, right? That's really important. So make sure that you contact a really reputable and qualified person. I always say to shop around, make sure that you're looking for the professional that's going to help you the best. And obviously in the real estate market, make sure that somebody who is going to spend time with you, take you around. Yes, you can go to Zillow, and yes, you can go to Trujillo, and yes, you could probably go to any number of websites here in the Valley to see real estate. But in order to know the nuances of each and every real estate house that's on the market or condo that's on the market, you really need to talk to a professional. And there are many of them out there, but this is just a little bit of word to the wise. On the show today, we are going to have, obviously, myself and one of our research analyst, Cooper Charles, is going to come on and talk to us about the history of Las Vegas. I mean, a lot of what we know about Las Vegas is today. It's the casinos, it's the gambling, it's the shows, it's the food. But where did it all come from? How did it all start? So I thought we'd go back to the beginning, bring on one of our great research assistants to talk about that with us. Also on our panel, we have Omar Merced today, Terrell Robinson, and Rebecca Fitzgerald, all great people who've been on the show before and been in Las Vegas real estate market for a number of years. One of the things that really affects your decision where to live is the transportation here in the Valley. Now, we got the 215 that has been connected. Obviously, everybody around here knows that. It's made life here in the city of Las Vegas and the surrounding cities just great. It just allows the traffic flow much more easily. Now, there are other ways to get around town, as I'm sure you're all aware of, and there was in January a number of articles in the paper about the proposed light rail that's going to be implemented in and around the city. I'm not quite sure whether that is the solution, but it's a solution. I know on the Strip, obviously, there's a number of ways to get around. You've got taxis, you've got Uber, you've got Lyfts, although there is some debate about Uber and Lyfts and whether they're going to have to be able to adhere to what the taxi cabs have to adhere to in terms of the regulation and what's going on in the city in terms of regulation and oversight to what that's happening. I personally think that the Strip should be one area and the surrounding area should be another area, and they're going to be regulated a little bit differently in terms of allowing certain transportation options into those areas. But Nevada's a union town. Everybody knows it, whether it's in construction, whether it's in transportation, the casino, the unions that really are instrumental in all of that. But the transportation and how you get around the Valley, how you get around the city, how you get around Henderson or Summerlin, or you go up into the mountains or some of the other, maybe even North Las Vegas. And by the way, North Las Vegas, a lot of things happening there. We talked about it in the past couple of shows. There's very exciting building up there, and the mayor and what they're doing up there is really terrific. I'm looking forward to, in the next couple of shows, to get somebody from city government, perhaps even the mayor, to come down and talk about how they're improving what they're doing in Las Vegas, in North Las Vegas, in terms of the housing. Because when you look at the Valley, and one of the topics that we're going to be bringing up on the show today, I think, is the water issue and how the water gets to Las Vegas, how it got here originally, and what are some of the issues in terms of expanding the population, housing, because it all boils down to one thing. And I say boil, that wasn't a joke. It's meant to be the water issue. Water is the most essential ingredient to growing Las Vegas. So how we're going to handle that, I want to deal with that on the show today. And I really appreciate you all coming on the show. I mean, not coming on the show, but certainly watching the show today. Every Sunday night at 4:30, bringing me into your home. It's a real privilege, and I appreciate that. I'm Jeff Barton, and I'm your host for the Las Vegas Real Estate Show. We'll be right back.
Your nose just a little bit. I need the sun off. There you go. When we do our workshops, we choose top locations like Red Rock Canyon for fashion, or we choose Cancun beaches for the glamour photography. There you go, good, good, good. We set up all the models. We have sponsors like Canon that bring out lenses and camera equipment, bodies that you can work with. We teach you how to use those. We teach you how to work with your equipment that you bring out. ISO 400, I'm shooting 1,000 shutter. I'm wide open at 2.8. Some of you are gonna be at 3.5. So whether you're a beginner or intermediate and you want to advance to the next level, or even if you're advanced now and you just want to learn more process, more value, learn your equipment a little bit better, take better pictures, check out one of our workshops. You can check out JeromeHamilton.com. We have a workshops page that'll get you there. We bring the top of the line models to all of our events, and we take you to the best places.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to the show. I'm Jeff Barton, your host for the Las Vegas Real Estate Show, LVRS, and I appreciate you all tuning in tonight, Sunday night, 4:30, to watch the show. Bringing us into your living rooms is a privilege, and we do respect that. Shows about all things real estate here in the Valley, how it affects you, how it affects your decisions on real estate purchase or real estate selling. And we are going to shift gears a little bit. I thought that one of the reasons that, by the way, this is Cooper Charles, my research assistant, one of our great research assistants on the show, and I wanted to get to some of the history of the Valley, what brought people here, and I think from that perspective we're going to get a little bit of insight as to why Las Vegas became what it is. Cooper, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's start from the beginning.
Right.
What happened? When did it happen? And like that.
Right. So earliest archaeological data shows that we had inhabitants in the area over 10,000 years ago.
Okay.
They are referred to as the Paleo Indians. However, Western settlement didn't actually come until about 1829, when the first Mexican scouts came to scout the area for the Mexican army. And then following that, U.S. scouts would come to the area with the war between the United States and Mexico in the early 1840s.
Okay, so let me understand this. So basically this was pretty wide open desert space for most of its history.
That's correct. The Spanish explorers who initially came to look at the area, they nicknamed it Las Vegas, the meadow.
Okay.
Because of all the various unique flora and fauna that were indigenous to the area.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a very apt description too, because it's kind of this oasis in the middle of this, because the surrounding area is very arid, it's very dry, and there is like a nice spring meadow, kind of a source of fresh water that many traders would use along the route to the west coast of California. So
it's interesting you bring up water, and excuse me for interrupting. That's kind of my nature. I apologize for that.
Quite all right.
So the water issue, we're going to deal with that on the show today.
Yeah.
And at its earliest beginnings, obviously this was an oasis of water for people who traveling, or it just was. And still, even today, water is the main issue. So we get to 1829, scouts are coming. The Mexican scouts, the U.S. scouts.
Correct.
What happens after that?
So basically what drew many Americans to the valley was a guy named John C. Fremont, who, if you know the city of Las Vegas well, Fremont Avenue is named after him. He drew various charts and maps of the region and then attracted initial attention. However, the main attention that was drawn toward the valley was the Comstock lode in 1859, which is the largest deposit of silver in the United States. Was at the time, still is.
How far away from Vegas is
It's in Jefferson City.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. So it was a trek, but Vegas was an important hub because it was set up as a fort town.
I see.
For supplies. So they would take earnings, whatever they made in the mines, and actually come out here to gamble to try and, win more money.
And when was this?
This was in the early 1860s and 70s.
Okay, so even then, this was a gambling town.
That is correct.
And was it regulated? I mean,
not regulated at all. Most of the time, it was just a little tiny hut in the middle of nowhere. You'd come in from Jefferson City and have whatever earnings that you could make from the day. Most people didn't strike it rich. Most people made very little money. So the idea was, I made a little bit of money, but now I'm going to make more money with the money I already have.
You mean gambling?
That's correct.
Okay. The major games at the time? Cards, I guess, or dice?
Yeah,
what?
Just it's actually pretty similar. It was poker, rolling dice. Yeah, but that was a pretty common part of kind of old West towns was gambling.
Right, right. And this being in this is actually pre-Civil War, right?
Actually, the Comstock, well, yes, the Comstock lode was discovered in 1859. And during the Civil War, a lot of the development in the area in the state of Nevada occurred. It actually became a state in 1864 to help finance the war effort against the Confederacy.
And you were telling me off air that this was a Union state.
That's correct. The Union Pacific Railroad had a very big claim in the area. They had unions and workers that had a very regimented schedule and that sort of areas, but also a lot of the early unions in the mines started in the Las Vegas area also, and in just Nevada as a state in general.
Well, you know what? We're going to have to call it here. I'm going to have you back because this kind of history lesson is extremely interesting, and I think a lot of our people that are watching the show probably didn't know half this stuff. Las Vegas has a rich and deep history. I want to thank you for coming on the show and giving us some education. I'm Jeff Barton. I'm your host for the Las Vegas Real Estate Show. We'll be right back.
Want to know how to create more business and save money? Simple. The answer is video. Video shares are the fastest growing form of word-of-mouth advertising, and according to InternetRetailer.com, visitors who viewed a business video were 85% more likely to buy after watching it. People today are on the go. They don't have time to read text, but they have 1 minute to watch video. At HD Video King, we not only create quality video that's right for you, we coach you on how to get the most from it. Call today. Our award-winning staff are ready to assist.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Hamilton Workshop Series, and I'm Jerome Hamilton. When you attend a Hamilton Workshop Series event, you're going to get hands-on education. You're going to get location scouting already taken care of for you, photographic lighting experience at the tip of your fingers through the whole event, pre- and post-shoot workflow as we work together with you to get through all the odds and ends. Also, at the Hamilton Workshop events, you don't just work with me. We bring in top quality published photographers that you get to work with side by side, professional mentors with you whenever you need it.
I've been a professional photographer for 24 years, and I have clients like Sports Illustrated, Target, Carhartt Clothes, and I bring that type of experience into the Hamilton Workshop Series. No photographer is the same, and we understand that. What we do is we provide one-on-one quality instruction on how they can improve on their weaknesses. We teach them flash photography, we teach them natural lighting, we teach them what lens selection and what equipment to use to get the shots that they need. What we want the student to leave the workshop with is with confidence, quality of images, and an enjoyable experience.
At the Hamilton Workshops, we don't just want you to take pictures. We want you to learn to create images. We want you to think on your own. We want you to create a style. If you want to check out one of our next workshops, go to jeromehamilton.com. There's a workshop page, check it out. We want to empower you to be the best photographer that you can be.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jeff Barton, and I am your host tonight for the Las Vegas Real Estate Show. And welcome. Thank you very much for coming. Every Sunday night at 4:30, we are here for you to talk about Las Vegas, the surrounding communities, the Valley, what's happening in real estate, mortgages, anything that can affect the price of your home or the home you want to buy. There's all kinds of new and interesting things going on here in the Valley, from building to those rental properties next door and who owns them, and a couple of things I want to get to right away. But before we do that, I want to introduce the panel to us tonight, to you tonight. We have Terrell Big Tex Robinson. Hi.
Hey, how you doing, Jeff? Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being on. He's a financial consultant and does a lot of good credit work for a lot of our clients. And Rebecca Fitzgerald from F&F Real Estate Investment, great real estate agent. Hi.
Hello, how you been?
I'm great. Thank you very much, and thanks for coming on the show.
You're welcome.
Okay, let's get to a couple of house cleaning items. What's going on in the real estate market right now? Vegas, summer, hot.
Super hot.
Yeah, things have been moving. You know, basically I have a client right now, like a $200,000 range. Hard to find her a place. She sent me probably 100 properties. 90% of them already gone.
Right.
And then,
where's she finding those properties? Zillow?
Yeah, she looks on Zillow and different websites like that, which I've told people over and over
Don't do that.
Are useless. And you're just going to get your hopes up. and then as soon as you text your real estate agent, they're like, sorry, it's not there. Like, stop doing that.
Right, and then they blame the agent.
They don't necessarily blame the agent, but then, you know, you show her houses, and then you have a multiple offer situation. You know, the average, you know, price point in Vegas is probably $230,000. So anything under that is going to be very competitive.
Right, of course.
So,
okay.
that's just kind of how it's going right now.
Okay.
Well, I'm finding, sorry, to that right there, as far as the real estate market, I'm getting clients that are coming in from California. So they have a little bit more cash flow as far as they can either put more down. So it's allowing them to move a little bit faster because I am getting some cash buyers. But again, I am getting the clients that are going to realty.com or Zillow, and it's too late. So same effects as far as in here in Nevada.
Okay.
What's something that he mentioned is because people always have this concern that Vegas is going to crash again.
Right.
And with that, there isn't money coming from California, because if you're making $500,000 in California right now, and then you no longer have that job as baby boomers are retiring, they're going to be leaving California because they can't afford it anymore.
Right.
So I kind of feel like it's going to be a different situation than it was before, and our market will stay stable, opposed to, I do see California having a correction.
Yeah, you know what? It's interesting. It's regional, but I also think it's national. There've been talk of a recession economically in 2018. I don't know if that's going to come to fruition, but certainly the real estate market in certain areas. Now, Las Vegas, as you just said, $230,000, which happens to be the median price of real estate in the U.S., is about $235,000.
Right.
So there are opportunities here. I think, depending on employment, I think the employment's pretty good. What about the employment? What's happening in town?
Yeah, we have a pretty stable employment rate right now.
Is it construction jobs, casino jobs?
It's construction everywhere, and people are actually they're coming in town. That employment is is on the rise, but also people are also becoming entrepreneurs too as well. So they're getting incorporated here in Las Vegas. So I've seen a big influx of that as well.
Interesting you say that. This channel that we're on, 18.8, is owned and run by an entrepreneur, somebody who said, hey, I can get into the TV business. Now, 5-6 years ago, you would never see somebody take that kind of risk and gamble to get into a business that they may or may not know a lot about.
Absolutely.
And I think the entrepreneurial spirit, what do you think about the big box stores going away and most of the shopping done online? How's that affecting Vegas?
Wow. I was just leaving here, coming to here earlier. And gentleman pulls up beside me, and it was Amazon Flex.
Right.
So, I mean, people are just going online, and they're cornering the market, Amazon. And so that's why you see your Walmarts are not as busy, because I have clients that are managers that work at Walmart that the walk flow is actually slowing down a little bit because people are going online as well.
The whole thing about people going online, I feel like, is a huge reason why the economy did come back, because you were able to buy anything online at a cheaper price. You're able to save that. And I think it's actually good for cities like Vegas, since we're a vacation destination. People have that extra income to come here and spend money, opposed to spending it on furniture. You could buy anything on the internet.
That's a great point. I mean, if you're saving money on a couch that you just bought, you're going to turn that money into dollars you can spend leisurely. And Vegas is the #1 leisure destination in the country, if not the world. So that's a great thing. Okay, let's get to a couple other things. Oh, main thing I want to talk about today is and we talked about it off air, the water. The water. Where's it coming from? How are we going to get it? How's the city going to continue to grow if we have it or we don't have it? So in discussing that, the historical analysis of water here in Vegas, they always look to cities like Los Angeles. And of course, everybody's seen the movie with Jack Nicholson and Faye Dunaway that talks about the water rights, Mulholland, and it's Chinatown, of course, is the movie I'm talking about. And what happened there, which is kind of what I wanted to talk about here, is that in that movie and in the reality, what they did was they went outside, 100 miles outside of Los Angeles, and bought up a lot of acreage in order to get the water rights underground. And what happened was, when they pumped the water rights, they pumped the water that was underground, the entire surface area went dry. And a huge dust ball happened in the 20s in Los Angeles, and it was horrible. And that, of course, led to pollution, which is what they called smog. And a lot of that had to do with the fact that water itself was drained out of the underwater storage systems 100 miles away. So we come to Las Vegas. We were talking off air about, what's the rancher's name up there? Baker?
Baker.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so what we have right now is a city that's trying to get more water. And I'm one person that believes that Nevada had it handed to them when they cut the deal about the Colorado River water, right? The 4 states that were in on that, Nevada got very little. But there is a ton of water in the northern part of the state bordering on Utah. But there are ranchers up there and people in the wildlife community who don't want the same thing that happened to Los Angeles happening to their area, even though Las Vegas needs the water. How do we solve the problem?
Well, one of the things that we have to look at is I saw research that it costs $4,000 today for one of these pumps down at the dam to be able to pump water, and they have over hundreds of thousands of different pumps. So 4,000 times all those thousands of pumps to pump water. And then at some time it can take 10 days to get water to Summerlin. So the people in Summerlin have to constantly keep running the water. So it's expensive. So now you get to a small town that's up there. I think it's in Utah and in the Spring Valley. Right. Well, they're also getting a big influx from snow off the mountain too as well. So even if they can come to an agreement to where say, hey, we're not trying to take all your water, but just this excess amount that can get us through maybe the harsh months, the summer months when it's not raining. We can come to an agreement. I think that'll work out just fine.
I mean, like basically what you're saying though is like this guy doesn't want to give up his water, but you know they're trying to pass legislation to go around it. It's kind of what it comes down to is which school of economics that you subscribe to. You know, if you believe that whatever is better for the greater mankind or greater good, then that should happen. I mean, it's kind of that school of economics. You're just going to have a fight between people based on that.
You know, it's good that you brought that up because I have a quote here I wanted to read you. It's by this guy named Jeremy Aguero, and he's with Applied Analyst, and he's talking just about this. He's talking about growth versus environment. And this is what we hear, and this is our presidential election, our local senators election, and the local, elections here in Las Vegas, and certainly the water issues. The quote is, this community, and he's talking about Las Vegas, this community will not be judged based on our ability to survive a recession. This community will be judged on our ability to sustain prosperity. So the idea of protection versus growth, and because we all have short memories on what happened in 2008, 2007, where do you fall on this? I mean, myself, I would like to see some kind of middle ground like they did with Uber, and
it's going to create jobs. It's going to create jobs. So versus this one gentleman who has more than enough water, he even made a comment that in certain parts of the month, his cows can graze 50 miles away from his home just to stay cool because he has so much water. And like I said, with the water, being able to split some of the water just to get through the harsh months, it's only a few months. It's not taking the money. I mean, it's not taking the water from the whole county. And that county is very small. But this is going to create jobs and more people as far as coming into as well to Las Vegas. So the growth, for me, the growth aspect.
I mean, but the whole entire world has changed so much. Everyone migrates to bigger cities. So it's like these 10 people that are up there in Utah and Nevada are just they just don't want to get with the times, and eventually these people are going to die, and the problem is still going to exist. We could have fixed it right now.
Let me take the other side of it. Nevada has prided itself on so many things: gun rights, property rights, grazing rights, and certainly water rights. The individual here in Nevada is prized beyond the collective, and the idea of jobs in a context whereby, hey, we have more jobs to provide than that whole county has in people. Just by providing some water. Where do we come down that as Nevadans, people who are watching the show, people who would rather watch a rabbit-eared television than buy cable? These are the type of people that Nevada is, a lot of it. The old-time Nevada. So do we protect their rights? Do we roll over them? How does this work out?
Well, compensate them. There's a way, build up a compensation factor to say, hey, for example, we're not going to just take your water, but you're going to be compensated for it. And you're going to still have more than enough to do your farming for your cows, your horses, or whatever livestock that you may have. But the biggest thing is to compensate them for it. Don't just take something away and not give them anything. So I think the biggest thing would be the work out a compensation factor that's a middle ground for everyone.
Right.
But
I personally don't feel that bad for them because I own a bunch of land in Oklahoma. We have a spring that pumps 750, 100,000, like 3/4 gallons per day. We're not allowed to use because it'll affect the downstream. There's nobody that even lives there. It's in the middle of nowhere, and I can't even use the own water on my own land.
wow.
So I just don't feel too bad for these people.
Okay.
The laws here are just different than they are in Oklahoma.
Yes,
So-
they are. And keeping the character, and this is always the fight between what is and what's coming, or what's going to be coming, right? It's the character of what the people who live there want versus the nature of the way things change. Vegas has changed. I mean, I've been out here since '04, and it's added another 1 million people. I mean, the fact is that we've got a great highway system. The development, I want to talk about this too, is what's going on up in North Las Vegas. We didn't get into that again in terms of how we're talking about development and the need for water and infrastructure.
Right.
So the balance of those two things, I think it's a fight. I think it's a fight worth talking about, and I'm not quite sure where we're going to come out on it.
Well, and one last thing in regards to the water, I was we just finished a home for Toll Brother in Far Hills up in Summerlin, and we spoke to a couple of neighbors that just moved in town for different jobs, and the one thing that they wanted was they wanted a swimming pool and they wanted grass in their front and backyard. Well, if they can only water so much, now they either have to put down turf or they have to go with the desert landscaping. So now that's going to affect the housing part as far as in that area, because you have multiple people now that want grass, but they want to be able to water their grass.
We're in a desert. I'm just saying, we're in a desert, and people, it just drives me insane. Now, I do a lot of radio and TV all over desert areas, and it's the number one complaint from cities, but yet the number one want from a house buyers. I want grass so my kids can go and play.
Exactly. Absolutely.
How do you deal with that? You can't deal with it. Okay, let's just move on to a couple more items, and then we'll wrap up the segment. Okay, squatters. What's going on with squatters here in town? It was a problem. It has become a problem again. Vacant properties, squatters sitting in. What do we do about that?
I mean, it's kind of hard because you have people that come in there and then they get rights almost.
That's right. That's right. I mean, we're talking about water rights. No, that guy has no rights to his own water, and yet people who don't even own the building are going to come in.
But that kind of is on the detriment of the actual owner. So
that's true.
They need to have some sort of they can't just leave their property empty and not have someone coming by and checking on it just because they don't want to pay somebody, and then they want to cause another problem down the line. So it's kind of the detriment of the owners. They need to continuously take care of their own property and make sure there's no one there.
Okay, is it a problem? Do you guys see it a problem? You're out in the marketplace a lot.
My next door neighbor, she owns a few units in my community. Before I moved in, she told me that there were some squatters and they ruined the whole place, and she had to redo the whole entire thing. So it's still a problem.
Okay. Hey, thanks very much for coming back on the show.
You're welcome.
Terrell, Rebecca, I'm Jeff Barton. I really appreciate you tuning in tonight, the Las Vegas Real Estate Show, and we'll see you every Sunday night at 4:30. Thanks for watching.
Want to know how to create more business and save money? Simple. The answer is video. Video shares are the fastest growing form of word-of-mouth advertising, and according to InternetRetailer.com, visitors who viewed a business video were 85% more likely to buy after watching it. People today are on the go. They don't have time to read text, but they have 1 minute to watch video. At HD Video King, we not only create quality video that's right for you, we coach you on how to get the most from it. Call today. Our award-winning staff are ready to assist.